everybody. Welcome to Drunkards Walk, the podcast. My name is Matt Hartman. I am one of the hosts for this Drunkards Walk that we will be taking you on here. But, of course, there is also a second host, a co-host, if you will, and I know that you will, because it's none other than Jethro Nolan.
Oh my gosh! I'm so excited to be co-hosting this episode.
Jethro, I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here, man, and I'm glad you're here. Honestly, I am exhausted.
From all of the hosting?
No. I was up super duper late last night. I was doing this great all-nighter. It was like it went to midnight. It was madness, and there were people, like, we were on these colored teams running around and doing all these puzzles. It was insane, man. And I mean, the green team won it, but
are you talking about actual Midnight Madness?
I felt like we were all winners.
Are you talking about the sweet 1980s movie Midnight Madness?
Is that a 1980s movie?
Oh, if you're familiar with the filmography of Stephen Furst, then yes, it is. Not only is it a 1980s movie, which I believe was, if not the first, but one of the earlier roles of Michael J. Fox, who played the younger brother to a David McNaughton of
the first. You're right.
American Werewolf in London fame. But also a movie that's just bad and has aged terribly well. And my teenage daughter did not appreciate its genius when I forced her to watch it like 2 or 3 years ago.
In fact, Michael J. Fox is credited as just Michael Fox in that movie. That is his first film role. But if you recall, last week you challenged me to begin each episode with a reference to another 80s movie. So this is the one I chose.
Oh, I recall. And first of all, I tip of the hat, because that is Midnight Madness, I think, is like a very much like your parents had HBO and you happened to catch. Like, nobody saw that in the theaters. It was just
very limited release, and actually a Disney movie. Their name's not on it, but made by Disney. And but I chose it specifically today, Jethro, because this past weekend, I think I might have mentioned I was a part of the MIT Mystery Hunt. Proud to say that we came in second place.
Congratulations! You dropped that with regularity, by the way.
Which is it's my second place is my first place, because first place actually has to create the hunt the next year, and so second place gets to celebrate that they don't have to do the hunt. But the reason that I chose to talk about that and to bring this all up is because this week's guest is another member of the Mystery Hunt team that I'm on, Team Left Out. It's none other than my good friend, Todd Etter. Todd, how's it going, buddy?
Hello. Hey, Matt, Jethro.
Hello, Todd.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Todd introduced me to the Mystery Hunt. And Todd, I was actually talking about the hunt last week because our guest gave us a topic suggestion a couple seasons ago of the Great Molasses Flood.
Yes, that's right.
And so it, that was a theme for the hunt in 2019. And
yes, it's so clever and horrible when a regional tragedy is repurposed into a puzzle hunt for nerdy amusement.
That's right. I feel like there's got to be like a slope downward graph depending on the number of fatalities. Like, eventually it passes some critical threshold when you're allowed to make an amusement out of it.
Right. I think we're probably at that stage, although we probably have friends that her great grandfather died in that thing, or who knows what, but like
it's a possibility. Sure.
When I heard about it, I thought that, like, how could you die in a molasses flood? Cause it's so slow. You're just like, oh, here it comes. Let's get out of the way. But it was horrifying. It flooded like feet of hot, boiling, sugary liquid, just melted people. It was horrible.
Terrifying.
Segueing away from that horrible topic,
how could you?
I saw Midnight Madness in the theaters when
You did?
Yes, I did, and I loved it so much I stayed and watched it again.
It is.
So I remember.
Was that what inspired you to? Because I mean, you're like in my mind, you're one of the puzzle gods of at least the country, if not the world. Like you make puzzles,
accurate.
you solve puzzles. Yeah. You're a puzzle guy. Like, was this your first foray into puzzles, or were you already totally interested?
Well, I was a subscriber to some magazines like Games Magazine, but that movie like personified like what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do that thing all the time and run around and go on a treasure hunt like that. And then we got to do it in real life many times. Like and it's so funny. But that movie, and I have the DVD. I have not watched it yet, Jethro. So it's like I don't know if it's aged well or not. I'm kind of scared.
I mean,
kind of scared to see if.
I mean, I think like all entertainment made in the early 80s, there's probably some sexism and homophobia that's sprinkled throughout that is like, oh, yeah, we've evolved since this was made. But it is also an incredibly nerdy film.
And
for sure.
Typecast, what was his name? Eddie Deason? Or the nerd? Like back-to-back nerd roles in Grease and Midnight Madness, I believe, right? And then forever dooming him to that.
And War Games.
Yes, that's right. Potato Head. Mr. Potato Head.
I feel like Eddie Deason has not played a non-nerd role. Like I'm struggling to think of the time where he played Othello or the romantic lead or something like that. Like Eddie Deason, pretty much Hollywood was like, no, we're going to cast you as a nerd. That's it.
He was almost picked for the lead of Eyes Wide Shut, I think, but it was.
It just went the other way.
Just went the other way.
Just nudged him out.
Sad. It was sad.
Well, Todd, it's awesome having you on here. Todd and I know each other, Jethro, you're not going to believe this, through improv.
Get out of town.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you do any other activities where you meet people, or just that?
No, I don't. That's it. Well, actually, no. Now I do puzzles as well in puzzle hunts. But so I met Todd by doing improv, and then he introduced me to the world of puzzles, and so now I meet people doing that as well. So it's a it's a weird little spider web.
He was your gateway drug. Yeah.
Very little overlap between those two communities. Very little, I would say.
Are you serious?
I think so.
I think there's a ton of overlap between those two. Yeah, they're both very nerdy pastimes. I feel
they are, but a lot of puzzles are real introverts, and I don't know. Well, I mean, yes, there is some overlap, right? But I don't know. We don't need
I hear what you're saying. I get what you mean by that, but I feel like there's a lot of people who would be taking improv classes, that are doing puzzle hunts, for sure.
I feel like
they would be interested in the idea of getting out of their shell.
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
When in Rome.
I feel like that a lot of the nerdy white guys that love improv and cling to it so much would be disturbed by the possibility that they could actually be proven wrong about something that is required of you. Like, at least with puzzles, like there's a right and a wrong solution, and you either get it or you don't. Whereas I feel like improv can provide succor to those who don't ever want to be wrong about anything because of the yes and ethic.
That's true. It is the exact opposite, where it's like that was great. Good job, everyone.
As opposed everything's a genius, as opposed to like, no, there's only one right answer and you haven't found
it. Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, so that's where I now have branched out, thanks to Todd. And so thank you, Todd, for that as well. We've had an opportunity to not only do a lot of puzzles together, but play a lot of board games as well. And I think there's a huge overlap between improvisers and board game playing,
as well as puzzlers and board games. So maybe
so that's your Venn. That's your Venn diagram right there. Yeah. But in fact, last week's topic, that our destination last week was Crokinole. And I mentioned how I had played that game and I had a board and everything. Well, Todd is the one who introduced me to that game. So here we are, kind of full circle already on our Drunkard's Walk, even on episode 2.
I recently watched the World Crokinole Championships.
We talked about this last week.
Seriously,
I didn't know this existed.
No, and it's like in some YMCA closet. And like it's like 5 people watching it, and all they're doing is getting it in the center over and over again. And it's like the most boring. It's like just.
Man, I was saying I had to check that out. Now I'm not as not as inclined to do it, because I haven't over the past week had a chance to go look at it. But that's crazy. Because I guess that's true.
If you want to be really good at it. A professional career Crokinole player, don't watch the video of the World Championships.
No. Okay. Well, there you go.
We'll steer you away from that.
So Todd, you probably have brought a destination along with you because we're going to start at Crokinole, but we're going to need to head somewhere else. So what did you have in mind for us this week?
So it is a topic which every now and then is dabbled in the world of puzzle hunts, and it's something I have never heard of until puzzle hunts, and it is baseball.
Oh.
It is spelled baseball with an L in the second letter.
Okay. So I've never heard of this either until the mystery hunt last weekend. I saw people talking about it like in the postmortem, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't have a chance to look it up. I just assumed they were spelling baseball wrong. So what is this thing? It
is something that I am not into, but I am fascinated that there is this subculture that exists for it. It is I think it is a online website game simulation thing that is a fictional baseball league with ridiculous rules and ridiculous players and ridiculous events. And it's been going on for years. I think there's 15 plus seasons, all hypothetical. People bet on it. They contribute to it. And there's standings. You go to the Blazeball website and it is just rabbit hole after rabbit hole of ridiculousness. And it started out, I think, with just the season and like the teams, and then they play each other in their standings, and there's the World Series equivalent. I don't know what it's called. And then it evolved into like custom player baseball cards and special events and just all these ridiculous superpowers that the players have and nicknames. And it's just this gigantic world that you just had no idea existed.
Yeah, this is nuts. I had no idea that this was a thing. I just assumed it was something from a puzzle. But you're saying it exists outside of puzzles. And is it the game of baseball, but just with all these different modifications to it, or is it a totally different game?
I don't know, and there'll be people that are yelling at your podcast when I'm misexplaining some of it.
They're frequently on.
Yes. The millions of people, right, will be yelling at their iMac or whatever. But my gut feeling is that it started out with baseball, and then wacky rules started getting added, and now in its current form resembles hardly anything to the actual sport of baseball. Oh. But I don't know. I've only been there to research it for a puzzle hunt. And so I haven't really browsed it, but there's several people on our team are huge fans of baseball. And
and this is obviously popular enough that it has a Wikipedia entry, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so do you have any idea like who started this thing or anything like this? Like so these are just probably college kids who were bored or something along those lines.
Probably.
Okay.
Just to clarify, is this an in-person physical activity or purely virtual?
Purely virtual.
Okay.
I think I don't know, but like Quidditch became a thing, so I don't know. Maybe.
But the only actual incarnation that you're aware of is digital online incarnation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And not real people, right? These are made up fictional characters that play the game.
Yes.
I see.
Again, I think so.
Right.
But,
wow, this is fascinating.
It is a hugely detailed world that hardly anyone knows about.
It sounds like I don't know what it sounds like. It sounds amazing. And I'm looking forward to figuring out what exactly it is and learning more about it.
Little did I know probably that the world champion of Crokinole was the founder of Baseball, and you'll be done in
That's
in 2 minutes. But
it actually had nothing to do with baseball. It had to do with Crokinole, and that's where the L comes from, out of Crokinole, and they just put it in there. But well, this is awesome, man. I can't wait to figure this out and find our way from Crokinole to baseball. Thanks. We really appreciate you giving us this topic here, and it's great seeing you, man.
Yeah, you too, both of you.
Likewise, Todd.
So thanks. Take care.
Okay, see ya.
Bye. All right, there you go. So baseball is I am. Well, I'm not going to be a whole lot of help on this. I've never heard of that before.
Hey, I will be even less help.
Perfect. Well, I guess we need to do some some housekeeping here first. First of all, are you having a drink tonight, Jethro?
Oh, I am, Matt. I am. I'm having.
What do you have?
I'm having a delightful Trader Joe's sparkling raspberry lime water.
Wow.
And it is as delicious as it sounds.
That sounds delicious. It sounds refreshing at the very least.
I feel refreshed.
Is it refreshing?
It is. It's like carbonated water. If you described a flavor to the water and then the water had to reconstitute those flavors based purely on your description and no chemical components whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had the flavored soda water before, and that's a very good description that you've given of it.
Thank you.
I'm reconstituting in my head right now. I am drinking something a little less good for you than what you were having. I'm drinking a Coke Zero Sugar with a dash of habanero lime syrup.
Ooh, why have you combined those two things?
So I found the habanero lime syrup. Oh gosh, now it's been probably 10 years ago when I ordered a Corona, some sort of mixed Corona drink at some Fridays type establishment. And I really enjoyed the combination of the lime and the spice. And then found that I could buy this syrup myself, which of course is because of the internet, and started mixing it with Jack and Cokes actually, and it's really good. I call it a pepper jack.
Nice.
A pepper jack. Yeah. But I find if you just add it to just Coke Zero, it also gives it a very good taste as well. So that's what I'm doing. It sparkles it up a little bit. Not as sparkling as your raspberry, but still a little sparkling.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that we're experimenting with flavors. And mixing things that were never intended to be mixed by the manufacturers who made them.
Yeah. Well, they have a lime flavored Coke. They just don't have the spice one yet. And I think I'm ahead of my time here. I think soon we'll see that everywhere because everyone will lose the sense of taste that they currently have. And they'll need these spicy things in order to really appreciate anything anymore. And so I think this is where we're headed.
I mean, I think all of us are just dying to feel something, anything at all, even if it's pain, which explains the listenership of our podcast as much as anything.
It does. So. It does. Yeah.
So Matt, for the listeners who are just joining us at this pivotal moment, we should probably tell them what we do here. And what we do is we go from one Wikipedia place to another. And today we're starting at Crokinole and we're going to end at Blaseball. And God knows how many clicks it's going to take us to get there using only the internal Wikipedia links. And I think that you and I should guess and be held accountable for those guesses.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we did describe that just a few minutes ago before we talked to Todd, but maybe not. I don't know. I have a poor memory when it comes to short term. So,
as do I.
But yeah, that is exactly what we'll do. So we should guess. So let us guess. So from Crokinole to Blaseball, Crokinole, I was so delighted to know what it was when we got this suggestion last week, and Blaseball I don't. So this guess is going to be very much a guess based on very little.
I think by definition, it's a guess.
Yeah, all right. Okay, I've got it. I've got a number. I've written down a number, and that's the best I can do.
I'm so glad. Well,
I don't think I can do anything better than that.
That's all we can do.
So let's do it, man. Let's really get into it. Let's really see where we can go from here. Because for those that didn't listen last week, Crokinole is a disc flicking dexterity board game, possibly of Canadian origin. I think last week we were told it was Canadian, but here it says possibly Canadian origin. So
indeed.
Who knows for sure, right? The age range on this, in case you're wondering, 5 years old and up.
5 years old, you say?
So I should get my daughter playing this, I guess.
Interesting. All right then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she could be, for all we know, she could be a Crokinole phenom in the making.
She could, yeah. Yeah,
you've got the board for it. So
it says here that Crokinole is also played using cue sticks, and there's a special category for cue stick participants at the World Crokinole Championships in Tavistock, Ontario, Canada, which I think Todd even mentioned watching that. Gosh, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I really got to get on that. I really got to go check those out on YouTube. But we've got to get to Blaseball. And I honestly, I think if we can get out of here into just sports, if we could get to baseball, I think we can get to Blaseball. That's my That's what I'm going to throw at you there, Jethro.
I like where you're thinking, because I don't know if
like
the careful listener has picked up on this, but baseball and baseball sound very similar as words.
They do. And my understanding is that baseball is just a fantasy version of baseball, right? So I feel like if you get to baseball, you get to fantasy baseball, and then baseball is going to be, I mean, it's right there. It's part of that, right?
I mean, you make a strong case.
Unfortunately, looking through this page, I'm not seeing a whole lot that relates to other sports.
Well, Matt, that's because you have a pathological aversion to the incredibly useful Wikipedia resources that are located at the bottom of the page.
The bottom of the page.
And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there is a purplish or maybe a lilac bar that says World Championships. And if you click Show off to the side, then the entire world of sport is open to you, including,
you're right.
Including, I will also say, esports. So if baseball is in fact an online entity or a thing that is played not in physical proximity, then I would think esports would be a place to go that might get us in the direction of something closer to baseball rather than specifically baseball, because I agree baseball and baseball are intimately connected, but baseball is such a huge topic. And I don't know if you've seen the entire Ken Burns documentary series, but it doesn't mention baseball once.
Well, I'm going to say that's because baseball didn't exist at the time that documentary series was made.
I would say even if it were made today, it wouldn't mention.
No, that might be true. That might very well be true. The other thing about this is that I don't actually see baseball linked here anywhere.
It's absolutely linked here.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
Absolutely. I guess
I missed it. I see baseball men and women, which takes you to the World Baseball Classic.
There you go. That's close enough.
But the actual word baseball here is not linked. Whereas like archery, badminton, climbing, like these are all things that are sports that actually have a link to this particular sport.
No,
baseball
they don't actually. If you hover over the links, they're all links to the championship game for that sport.
They are indeed. So, okay. So here's my concern about esports.
Go ahead.
Is that esports is video game playing as is illustrated here by the fact that Call of Duty, Counter-Strike, and so on are all the things that are under this category here. So my concern would be that baseball, while it is practice in an electronic medium, is not considered an e-sport because it's not somebody holding a controller actually doing something in the game. It's just statistics. It's just reading statistics essentially and running fake scenarios and things like that.
I mean, but it is a thing which requires a computer to play.
For sure. Okay. But if we were to go from esports to computers, I feel like we would be much further off than if we were to go to baseball. Like I think computers is such a large topip.
I wasn't. No one can
have a tough time.
No one was suggesting to go to computers.
And I'm not saying that you were, but if you do stop to think about that, don't. Just stop thinking about
late.
That instead of stopping to think about it. No, don't do it.
You've already made me think about it, Matt. You've already, by virtue of your...
I can't make you do anything, Jethro. We've proven that.
That's a fair point. I'm a stubborn man.
I will say that there are several other sports that are linked at the top. First of all, board games are linked, as is curling and shuffleboard and pool. So those are the actual sports that are linked versus the world championships of the sports. But you know what? I still think that the world championship of baseball to then get to baseball is going to be our best bet over esports.
See, my issue with what you're talking about is that you're talking about going world championships of baseball, then we go to baseball, and then there's probably a subset of like spin-off type fantasy games. So we're 3 clicks away at best using your path. Whereas if we go esports, we know in fact that we are in the general realm of baseball.
I don't think that that's right. I don't think that baseball is an e-sport.
I mean,
You do? You think it's an esport?
I mean,
you really believe that it fits under that same category as something like Call of Duty?
I don't know. It's obviously different from Call of Duty. I mean, and I say obviously like I'm an expert on the damn thing.
Yeah.
I would say that it
seems different. Is all I'm saying.
It's at least as close to baseball as the World Series of baseball is.
Oh boy. Well, I disagree, but I am willing to find out, I guess is what I will say. Because, and here's another thing I'm going to say, another reason why I think it's not going to be in here, or it's not going to be very closely related, is because things like FIFA, the video game FIFA, and Pro Evolution Soccer, like these are sports video games that are under esports, right? So, and everything listed here is a video game. Every single thing listed here, I assume. I guess I don't know what e-sailing is. Maybe that's not. Oh, but when you mouse over it, there's an issue displaying the preview. So it probably doesn't even exist.
Nice.
It's all made up. But that being said,
I mean, if
I'm happy to go and prove you wrong.
If this thing requires a computer to play, then isn't it a video game? I mean, is Wordle a video game?
Well, no. I would say no. I guess I would say no to
that Wordle is still popular. We're right in the throes of Wordle mania.
Yeah. Check out Absurdle if you really want to have some fun. If you don't know what Absurdle is yet, go check that out. Excellent. So no, I don't think that just because it's on a computer, it is a video game. I will say that I know, because my understanding with baseball is it lives online. But if you wanted to do it with paper and pencil, you could.
I mean, but can't you say that about anything?
No, you can't play Call of Duty with pencil and paper.
Yes, you can. You can draw a soldier and make little paper bullets and throw them at things.
Yeah, no, but you will lose the essence of the game. You will not lose the essence of baseball, at least with my understanding of what baseball is, if you were to do it all on paper. If you were to fax each other the information or mail it in the mail, you could still get all the information across. You could still play exactly the same game versus if you were doing something like this, if you were doing Call of Duty, for instance. But again, I'm willing to go and find out. So let's go to esports.
Let's go to esports. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Because I want to know what the Wikipedia page about esports is all about. And if you didn't realize that this was esports, the way it's written, you could be like esports. Because it's just capital E, then lowercase sports, no dash, no, just esports.
Interestingly, in addition to your fine linguistic point that you were making, which those of us who lived through the 80s and had friends who wore esprit clothing, this will be very familiar. But the very first link on this page is this article is about video game competitions for simulated sports in video games. See sports game, which links to sports video game.
Oh,
right.
Well, that's simulated sports in video games, though. But that's video games. I don't think it's a video game. I really don't. I don't think that there's any movement involved. Oh, don't start with that. You brought us here. You started this.
Listen, every video game is basically just math with a bunch of graphics on top of it. So the idea that's
actually what it is, but that's not what Joe video game player sees. They're not looking at the code.
I understand that. There's a list of esport games. Fantastic.
Oh, Twin Galaxies is on here. Walter Day. There's Walter Day. He just passed away.
Who's Walter Day?
Walter Day is he was like the guy that owned Twin Galaxies. He was the referee for like the World Video Game Championships. Have you ever seen King of Kong? Fistful of Quarters?
I have in fact.
Okay, so he's the older gentleman who's the referee.
Gotcha. Oh.
And he just recently passed away, I think within the past couple of months.
Oh, well, God rest.
Yeah, indeed. So he's on here, and there's all kinds of talk about like different video game championships. Billy Mitchell, there he is. That's the guy who's the villain in that movie too.
I do see a link to Major League Baseball.
Okay,
under the performance enhancing drugs section.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a whole section for ethics and legal problems, and the second section of that is performance enhancing drugs.
So see, that's good to know, because that means that if we need to get out of here, it's the same number of links it would have been to go off of the other one, right? To go off of the World Championship of Baseball page.
Exactly. But again,
so we're still in a good place.
You've already laid out that path, and there would be no discovery if we followed that path. So I still think baseball is a boring way to go.
I like this. There's a part here about global tournaments, and it says Umhara subsequently won the match. Evo movement number 37 is frequently described as the most iconic and memorable moment in the history of competitive video gaming. Being at one point the most watched competitive gaming moment of all time, it has been compared to sports moments such as Babe Ruth's called shot and the Miracle on Ice.
I will,
like, those are huge deals.
I will, and notice that they are not that, because if they were that, then you wouldn't have had to explain it. It's kind of like being improv famous.
Well,
if you're
maybe
esports famous, like there's a certain subset of the population that is very into it, but most of the
or perhaps we are just too old to really be appreciating.
This is also
true.
That. This is also
how does that hit you?
I have a teenage daughter, so news that I'm old is
well done. Yeah.
Not new to me. I'm apparently aware of it every second of the day.
Let's see. There's a link on here for others claim that sports involve physical fitness and physical training and prefer to classify esports as a mind sport. And that is linked.
Yeah.
A game of skill where the competition is based on a particular type of intellectual ability as opposed to physical exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, does that not describe baseball?
I mean, possibly. Again, I
feel like it might.
It might. It very well might.
Okay. Well, you're seeing something better than this.
I really like the first link that was there that I fell in love with, which was
you want to go to that sports video game page.
I do, because I stand by my premise that baseball is a video game. If Pong and Frogger are video games.
No, come on. It's a totally different thing. You're controlling something in that. There's something physical to what you do. You have to move it. Like it takes hand-eye coordination to be good at Frogger, to be good at Pong. It doesn't take hand-eye coordination to be good at baseball.
You just invented that. Video tic-tac-toe is a video game. It does not require hand-eye coordination.
All right, Whopper.
I hear you're damn right. Also, by the way, if that's all that Whopper has to do to get those codes, you know what that's exactly like? Wordle. Yeah. That's exactly like Wordle. Maybe Wordle is the computer's way of trying to get the launch codes in 5-letter increments. That's probably that is probably the case.
I think that's probably true. Computer software is on here. I like that even better than
no, because
what you're saying, because I don't think it's a video game. No, I know it's too broad. I'm not saying I want to go to it. I'm saying I like it better than video game. That's all I'm saying.
I tell you what, sports video game, right?
Yeah.
There's famously some baseball sports video games, right? So I guarantee baseball is a clickable link on that page, and it can get us out of here if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, which let's face it, rarely the case, but if I am wrong, then you get the benefit of lording it over me for the rest of the episode and perhaps season. What do you say?
We lose Mind Sport. Listen, I feel like Mind Sport is the best one to follow right now. You don't like that?
I don't like it.
You don't like
I don't like it at all. I feel like
not at all.
That's like Mind Sport are like two totally different things. Like, not that you don't use your mind in sports, but like it's like that's even less sports oriented than baseball is video game oriented.
But it's already been okay. All right.
I can feel the surrender building, so I'm just going to let that happen as you begrudgingly let me click on the link that I want to click on.
The only reason you think that that's going to be the case is because I just did it. So you're primed for it.
All right. Sports games takes us to video game.
All right. Fine.
I thought you said you just did it.
No, I meant that I did it on the last page.
We've already
too late. No, it's too late. You've already done it. You've committed yourself. So sports video game is where we are now.
There we go. Fantastic. Sports game redirects here. For games that are themselves sports, see sport. For electromechanical sports games, see arcade game. Ooh.
Electromechanical sports games.
So I think that's like the little hockey games where you can spin the individual players.
Sure.
But that would get us back to Crokinole because it is a disc flicking game.
True.
Memory serves.
True enough.
So many very cool things here.
Yeah, well, I liked management. I went down. There's a section for management. A sports management game puts the player in the role of the team manager. This seems like exactly what baseball is.
There you go.
There's no mention of any particular ones. I'm not having anything to drink. There's nothing. There's nothing here about that. There's sports league. There's team manager. There's AI.
There is a reference to track and field, which was a fixture in my youth. I don't know if you ever had the opportunity to play track and field.
Oh, sure.
Stand-up arcade
absolutely.
game. It's a terrible game. There's two versions of it. There was one version where you hit two buttons to run, and then there was a trackball one where you would just spin in the track.
And then you would pinch your hand every now and again.
We all have wounds from that game.
Well, here's what I like about this so far is that the fact that it has these types of things talked about, these management games, does prove your point that the type of game we are looking for is going to be considered a video game, I think.
Apology accepted.
Because the management game, I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying that you're right.
There we go.
I'm not sorry that you're right. I'm just saying you are right.
All right, then. I do see links to some under future growth. There is a link to baseball video games.
I see.
And then a list of several specific ones that are baseball related, but a link to baseball video games gets us, it makes you happy and it makes me happy, I expect.
Yeah, I mean, probably that's going to be the way to go. I was looking at the Intellivision World Series Baseball is on here. Mm-hmm. I've recently joined TikTok, and there's a guy who has a TikTok thing where all he does is show old Intellivision games being played. And I didn't own an Intellivision, but several of my friends did. And so it's just really fun to watch it. And there was one on it that is a horse racing game. And literally all it is you go in and you bet on which horse is going to win. And then they run, and then you either win money or you don't. Nice. And then you go on to the next race.
I'm still emotionally absorbing the information that you have joined TikTok.
Oh yeah. It's great, man. I'll tell you what, there's some really fun stuff on there.
What's a highlight for you of stuff that you've seen this far?
Well, I just told you about the Intellivision. There's also the guy who is the, I can never remember his name. The guy who created Phineas and Ferb has his own account. Okay. And so he talks all the time about like making the show, and there's a bunch of Star Wars stuff on there, and there's Star Trek. There's people like, let me tell you why this Star Trek show is the worst. And I'm like, yeah, tell me why it's the worst.
So do you at all feel like you're like the old guy at the party on TikTok?
No, because I don't post things to TikTok. I just watch videos of things that I want to see.
And the algorithm has figured out that like, oh, you're just a middle-aged nerd who wants to see 80s, 90s nostalgia stuff.
That is correct. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and there's all kinds of great 80s and 90s nostalgia on there too. Like there's people that have like they play old commercials, and they've got like old, openings to television shows. And oh yeah, it's a grand old time.
Fantastic.
All right. So you are saying, I see Super Mega Baseball, but I don't see, where did you see specifically baseball video game? Because I will say that all of the things that I have seen listed on here as actual games have all been the type of video games that I was talking about.
Yes. Duly noted. And again, baseball continues to be a viable out of anything. I feel that clicking on any particular specific game isn't going to get us close to baseball, whereas clicking on something that is more categorical is a better fit that will likely get us there.
Well, baseball itself is linked on here.
Again, I feel like we're going backwards because we already have a list of baseball video games as a possibility. Why would we want to go to the much broader baseball? Where
are you seeing this? Because I still haven't found that.
So that link under the history section, there's several paragraphs. There's the ball and paddle era, the decline, the resurgence.
Yes.
And there's further growth, 1986 to 1994. The 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see. Basketball video games.
Yes. The late 1980s is considered the golden age of baseball video games.
Okay, I see it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The link.
RBI baseball. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I liked RBI baseball. All right. Let's give it a go. The following is a list of baseball sports video games.
Boom. Who could ask for anything more?
I feel like we're in bad shape here, but go ahead. Let's do it.
Franchises. This is a dynamic list and may never be able to satisfy particular standards for completeness. You can help by adding missing items with reliable sources.
Oh boy, this is not going to be good because baseball is not going to be linked on here because it's just a list.
Oh boy, that's unfortunate. Oh, there is a link to MLB. One of the column headers is MLB NPB licensee, and you can hover over MLB, which would get you to Major League Baseball. So sorry if that's
Major League Baseball, but that's not baseball, which is what we had on the last page, which would have been a better link.
Sorry if I took away your reason to be upset.
Well, no, you've given me a new reason to be upset. These are video games. These are video games. These are
video games. Yes, just like baseball is a video game.
I'm starting to feel like it's not.
I feel
what year these are in year order. What year would you? Oh, I guess I could sort them by title, couldn't I?
I guess we could
sort them by title.
It's all going to be baseball.
Baseball.
What? Where is it? Where are you? You
good
beautiful
Lord! Right between big league slugger baseball and Bo Jackson baseball comes
good heavens.
baseball.
Look at that! Look at
played on the
that.
web by the game band, and there it is, Blaseball, a baseball simulation horror game.
Fantastic.
Well, let's click on this. I didn't realize. I thought it was a type of game, but no, it's the title.
There we go.
Of the game.
We clearly failed to extract sufficient information in the initial interview on this topic.
Yes, for sure. Released on July 20th, 2020, played via web browser. During each week, the game is active. A full season and championship series of Internet League Baseball is simulated with elections on Sunday in which the community can change the rules of the game.
Nice.
Holy cow. What does it mean, horror game? Why is it horror?
I don't know. We might have to play it to find out.
Well, and I don't want to read too much about it right now because next week we'll be going from here. Plus, we don't know, maybe our guesses were the same. And if they are, we're going to have to find another way in. And so let's not.
It's fair.
Let's not go too far into it right now, but we did it, and we did it in not quite record time, but sure darn close. 4 links it took us to get there. Crokinole to esports to sports video games, sport video game to list of baseball video games, and that to baseball.
Well, that's incredible. So I'm just going to revise my guess really quickly here, if you don't mind.
Oh, no. No revising guesses, sir. You're stuck with what you guessed.
Well,
what did you want to tell me first? You want me to tell you?
I'll tell you first because I had very low expectations for us because we were going from one thing I had never thought we'd get to another thing I never thought we'd get to and knew nothing about. Yeah. So I guessed 8.
8. All right. I had a little more faith. I said 5.
Look at you.
Because I was thinking sports to sports, man, we're going to be okay. And when we got in the Crokinole and there weren't many sports, I was real worried for a second. But
there we go.
Looks like it worked out.
Oh, fantastic. So, I'm glad that following all of my suggestions got you the win.
It did. I really, well, and who's to say? I mean, maybe baseball would have gotten us in there too. In fact, let me take a look. I do want to find out real quick. If you are on a baseball page, I guess I could go to what links here. I feel like oh man, there is not much that links here. Nebula Award for Best Game Writing links you in here.
Never would have.
But you know what doesn't link you in here?
Baseball.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that.
Does not get you in there. I am curious though. I'm gonna go to baseball real quick just to. I know it's not going to have baseball in it, but does it have fantasy baseball?
They do have a link for variations of baseball, but I don't know if that's going to be like actual physical games or digital. Yeah, it looks like it's actual physical.
Yeah, fantasy baseball is linked on the baseball page, but I'm going to guess that nope, baseball not on the fantasy baseball page. So yeah, we would have been in some real trouble had we followed me. So I'm glad we followed you.
Man, it's a gift of the Magi situation where if we follow my suggestions, I lose. If we follow your suggestions, you lose.
That's right. That's exactly the story of the gift of the Magi. If I'm not mistaken, right. It was a Wikipedia based story.
Henry was very prescient in writing about an early podcast.
It's true.
In the
It's true.
late 1800s or whenever the hell he wrote.
Well, Jethro, this has been a real blast.
Good try. Good try.
It's like a blast, but it's.
I think this this sentence has become its own absurdist online horror game where you try to.
It has indeed.
You try to find the right pun.
We'll have to see where we head off to next week from Blaseball. Hopefully, to some other odd sport we've never heard of, where we have the chance to do something new and different. But I enjoyed it this week, man. Thanks so much.
Likewise. Cheers.
Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again for Drunkard's Walk. Thanks so much for listening. A big thank you to Jesse L. Lee for our theme music and Nick Harmio for our artwork. Another big thank you to our patrons, Dave and Katie. Thanks so much for supporting us. We really appreciate that. If you're interested in supporting us, head on over to patreon.com, look up Drunkard's Walk Podcast, and you can do that through there, find out all about what we've got to offer. Also, give us a rating or review on iTunes. I know you're listening. I know you can hear me, and I know you can go and do it. It doesn't take that long, and we would really appreciate any kind of rating or review that you can give us. Thanks so much for listening again, and we will see you next week.